Pregame.tv. Believe it or not, during break, we're talking a little baseball upcoming in the playoffs. One team that's not going to have to worry about any playoffs. Your Buffalo Bills, they're at home here. Hosting Baltimore. Bryan Leonard, you've got to play on this one. Let's break it down.
I think the Baltimore Ravens are a little bit overrated right now.
Yes.
Take a look at their offense so far this year. They haven't run for 100 yards in any game. In fact, they're allowing twice as many rushing yards per game as they are accumulating themselves. Ray Rice, injury problems. Let's take a look at the Baltimore passing attack, averaging 4.3 overall rushing and passing, averaging 4.3 yards per play.
They played your juggernaut, Cleveland Browns. Your defense is so good. And Denver. What do you expect?
Passing game for the Baltimore Ravens. Supposed to have a pretty good passing game. Averaging 5.5 yards per pass attempt. League average 6.3. The only thing Baltimore does is stop the run pretty well. You got a road favorite, a more than a field goal here against a Buffalo team that is playing hard. I like the way Buffalo's playing. Buffalo actually thinks they're competitive. I think they are. The only thing that keeps me from using this as a paid play for my clients is Buffalo has a huge game coming up on Thursday because they get to play on national TV against my Cleveland Browns. So there's a little bit of a look ahead there. Right, it's a short week coming up on next Thursday.
Is Buffalo good enough
to look ahead? Yeah.
Cleveland? Does anyone
look ahead to Cleveland?
National TV.
Every game's on national TV.
It's the NFL.
Come on.
Not for the Buffalo Bills, it is.
Maybe for a little Monday night action.
No, wait, this Thursday game that's upcoming, is it in Cleveland, then?
It's in Cleveland.
Maybe for Monday night, I think, or Sunday night, maybe.
It's
but
a big game.
Thursday night's not even on cable. It's on the
NFL Network.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of people complain I get it, but a lot of people complain they don't even get it.
I'm going to go to VR in a second here, but my under-the-radar fact is that when Baltimore was playing Cleveland, Flacco's wife was in labor with their second child.
Yep.
And that's an interesting dilemma because if it was the first child, I would say your birth of your first child, it's a stupid football game. Sorry. I mean, I like the NFL as much as anyone. Your wife's giving birth to your first child. You got.
I agree.
But second child, okay, and you got that really huge.
It went good the first time.
Okay, probably everything's okay, and probably can pay like 18 people to help out with this new contract. But still, that's a big adjustment. I mean, people say, oh, well, you got people to do everything. It's like, look. You're home with two little ones. You don't have people to do things at 3 in the morning. I mean, I'm sure he's still the one he's still changing diapers and he's still doing stuff and helping out at that time.
They don't have like 15 nannies there.
Yeah, that is I can only imagine, having been, being a father now, I had no idea, as far as
what it takes,
sleep schedule and everything else. And I wonder if maybe Flacco, that might be part of the reason that someone would argue, well, he won the Super Bowl with one little one at home. He should know what he's doing. What do you think? You're breaking out into a sweat here.
I am. I'm getting hot under these lights.
I'm a little worried.
I'm getting hot under these lights.
You and Flacco are both under pressure. What do you think?
There's the phone call. Actually, listen, I like Buffalo in this game. For me, this may be a client play. I agree. Baltimore is definitely overvalued. I had them last week. I thought it was a good spot for them.
Right.
I really did. And as high as I am on Houston coming into the season, the Houston defense hasn't gotten I think as good as they're going to be as the season goes on.
It's really the offense. The Houston offense has been they keep turning it over.
Yeah. And giving them, because if you see, exactly, if you see the defense for Houston, we're going to cover that game next, they're not allowing a lot of yards. Right. It's just everyone has a short field against them.
Sure.
So they're giving up a lot of points, and that's why I think that turnovers is going to balance out.
And remember, Houston crushed Baltimore at the end of last year. So this was really Baltimore's last.
That was their big one. Exactly.
That was their huge revenge.
Yeah, it was, and that's why I think this is a good spot for Buffalo. I think this has sprinkle written all over it.
Every game a good spot for Buffalo. Doesn't it seem that way? We're always saying this is a really good spot.
I'll tell you, I think this is one of those teams that they are undervalued. I do. I think all the negative press they got with the E.J. Manuel being their draft pick and nobody wanting him, I thought coming into the season they were undervalued.
You wait till it's 30 degrees and windy and you won't want them.
They had a lot of good defensive players that they signed the year before. It takes time for these guys to gel.
Yeah. I was
talent.
I wasn't high on Baltimore from the beginning of this season at all. So
big injuries for both sides on both sides of the ball here. Both teams banged up. Ray Rice likely not going to play. I love Pierce. probably because I want to prop bet on them in the Super Bowl to go ahead and get yardage and carries as being my best bet. But I think that.
I mean, what's this defense giving up? What's it say? 5.5 yards per play?
We got the technicals here. Buffalo is averaging 5 yards per play. They give up 5.3.
And what does Baltimore, though, defense give up?
Gives up 5.4 as well. Comparable defenses in terms of these numbers, but they're only gaining 4.3. If you just looked at this and you didn't know what the jerseys were on the back, you would actually say, oh, these teams are reversed.
Yeah, Buffalo's the better team.
But Baltimore's played a little bit.
The higher, better level of competition.
They played Denver.
Yes.
So that's enough to.
Right,
Yeah.
Whereas you've got Buffalo playing the Jets and they're playing New England with a walking wounded or what's left.
Right.
Yeah. So that is certainly a key factor. Fair to say you think this 3.5 is going to leak down to 3?
I do. I think the Sharps are going to take the 3.
I'm surprised it's still sitting out there, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think we better grab it before it goes away.
I do, too.
Right? Let's do it.
Make it official.
Haven't seen enough out of the Baltimore Ravens to expect them to win by more than a field goal on the road here. Their offense has struggled. They can't run the football. They can't throw the football, and they've been beaten up pretty good in the passing game, although, as we pointed out, they did go against Denver and Peyton Manning, who was, I guess he's a pretty good quarterback. But this Buffalo Bills team, I think nobody cares much about Buffalo. They haven't had a winning tradition lately. I think there's some value on them, and taking them at plus 3.5 at home, I'm going to do it.
I think it's a solid pick.
I like it.
Makes sense. I think a lot of people in the Super Contest are going to lose with you with this one, including probably myself if it's 3.5. You know, it's one thing that I get a kick out, like teams like Cleveland and Buffalo, is you always hear, well, you know, they're rebuilding and they're about a year or two. You always hear this. They're a year or two away.
Yeah.
Why can't someone just say they're doomed? Like the Kansas City Royals, well, they actually are contending this year. But what's the baseball team that never contends, Brian? My baseball guy, Brian's Diamonds. Each and every
You're going to say Pittsburgh.
I want to say the Pittsburgh Pirates.
You can't say Houston. They were in the World Series in, 2005?
Yeah, wasn't that the most
against the White Sox, getting swept?
The Houston Astros going to the World Series like that was the most unlikely thing you've ever seen.
Yeah.
Even the Marlins, when I moved
Would we
here,
go maybe San Diego Padres? Would that be a good team?
They played the Yankees. They played the Yankees.
Padres played the Yankees.
So we're talking about the Padres are finishing well here at the end of the year.
Everybody's gone to the World Series.
Hopefully the Padres.
Hold on. Let's stop and think of this. Who hasn't gone to the World Series lately?
Hopefully, while you think about that, hopefully the Padres will finish well, at least tonight. But like that's a classic example. People say, oh, they're a year or two away. That's a bunch of crap. They're 20 years away.
Since the Kirby Puckett.
Always.
Yeah, the Twins.
They're always 20 years away. The Twins are.
But the Twins for their market. I hate to get off on a tangent here, talking baseball. The Twins for their market over the years and their payroll, they have excelled like crazy.
For them, it has been a long time. Like the Blue Jays were good back in the 90s.
Joe Carter.
In the early 90s.
The Mets have been horrible for a long time.
There you go.
Yeah.
The Mets and why don't we just wait? Whoa!
86.
Boys,
The Mets in 86.
Boys, we got to go Cubs. We got to go.
Yeah, what are we thinking? What are we thinking?
Losers.
Hello.
All the way around.
Never heard of the Cubs.
Hello.
Billy, Goff, Curse.
I'm trying to think of what team.
Backman, right? What's the kid's name?
Thank you.
The kid with the foul ball.
The Cubs,
Bartman.
But the Bartman works for Hewitt Associates, can vacation for free in Florida the rest of his life.
You just gave the location of Steve Bartman on our video?
Bartman.
You cost me money, Bartman. I hope you lost your job. No, he didn't, because I would never have bet on the Cubs under any circumstances, maybe on an in-running. We digress. Let's get away from back to NFL. We're going to be breaking down Seattle.
What a game. What a game.
Houston. Seattle is the my number one power-rated NFL team right now. Can they go into the throat flies? Can they go into Houston and get it done? VR tips his hand on how he feels on this
15-yard penalty.
Make it official. Pregame.tv.